A 12-day stretch full of fair fun takes a lot of work, but officials say they are prepared and ready.
It's Western New York's biggest event.
In just a matter of days, hundreds of thousands of people will head to Hamburg for the Erie County Fair.
The fair is one of those places that you can bring grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, and the kids, and everybody's going to enjoy the day.
But putting on a fair full of games, rides, and food for you to enjoy takes 365 days of preparation.
This is something that the staff and the board has been planning, and the volunteers, they've been planning for a full year.
Planning for this year's fair started before the 2024 fair even wrapped up.
We've been spending time with actually drone imaging, measuring during the winter months, laying things out, making sure things looked the proper way. It is a lot of logistics.
Piece by piece.
Ride safety is of utmost concern for everybody.
Preparation also includes making sure rides are safe.
Drake sets them up. The Department of Labor is here every day checking those rides. We also hire an outside inspector, somebody who's not associated with the state, not associated with Straits, somebody that we say, come and just make sure everything's really good. I've seen that gentleman shut down the ride if a snap is missing on a seatbelt or something like that. They get it fixed, it's back up and running.
According to the New York State Department of Labor, rides that pass inspection will have a DOL tag. You can look up inspection results yourself on the state's ride safety database.
The Erie County Fair kicks off Wednesday. Each and every day has something different. For more information, go to our website. On your side in Hamburg, Courtney Courtwright, Channel 2 News.
It wasn't long after the embers cooled from the fires which first destroyed the old Pink 14 months ago, and then the Brick Bar 6 months later. The folks were wondering what would become of these now empty lots. Now Kyle Roach has reached an agreement to buy both down the street from this building he already owns.
Living in New York City and seeing sort of some of the historic neighborhoods of Brooklyn, you understand like how important historic neighborhoods are for a city.
But as to what eventually might rise from the ashes here once the sale goes through?
The bottom line is we haven't made a decision yet.
So I am happy that that there is one owner that's going to buy those two lots.
Allentown is in the Fillmore Common Council District, represented by Mitch Nowakowski.
I want to see number one, density of people, so apartments, and then ultimately storefronts that are built to the street with a design that's up to the preservation standards, since Allentown is a historic district.
That's certainly one of the options on the table.
Along with others.
Maybe we can make something child-friendly, daycare, the medical quarters right down the street.
I've saw comments about putting in a gym there or something that is more activity focused.
No, we lost 2 bars. Think we should have 2 more bars?
No.
No.
You
still got a dozen bars down there.
Now, at the same time, I don't think there's the downside to that type of development.
Not playing music at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, there appears for now only 2 certainties. 1,
I mean, we're not going to leave the lots empty.
And 2, before any plans are drawn up or anything is built, they want to know what the neighbors think.
I think there's a process here we're going to engage in over the course of the next 6 months to figure out what the best use of that space would be, and understanding the importance of that area for that community.
You can see the fish washed up along the shore here on Lake Erie. It's a disturbing sight for those who are walking along this path, and now environmental officials are looking into what caused it.
At Bennett Beach, many of the fish had already been cleaned up by lifeguards by the time we arrived. The smell and sight left a strong impression of those who saw it earlier.
We started to get the first reports of a fairly large fish kill event that was occurring at that time from Dunkirk to the Pennsylvania line in the New York waters of Lake Erie. And it was primarily freshwater drums that were dying.
The New York State Department of Environmental Conservation says this isn't a case of disease or pollution. It's a natural phenomenon known as cold water upwelling. Strong northeast winds push cold water from the bottom of the lake up to the surface. And freshwater drum, also called sheephead, just couldn't handle that rapid temperature drop.
Many thousands of them have died. They've since washed up on shore, and they're out in the middle of the lake. They're really everywhere at this point.
While the sight may be alarming, Jason Robinson with the department says it's not a sign of anything more serious. This type of event has been happening for thousands of years, especially during warm summer months when the lake is layered with warm water on top and cold water below.
This just happened to coincide with when people are on vacation in the summertime using the beaches, and so there's a level of concern, but it's certainly it's a natural event.
No cleanup is required by the DEC. Nature will take care of that, and while the fish might stick around for a few more days, officials say there is no danger to people on the water. On your side in Western New York, I'm Alexandra Rios-Malvia, Channel 2 News.
First off, Senator Schumer, when surrounded by other Democratic politicians, tourism advocates, and small businessmen and women, making clear his political intentions regarding President Trump's now 35% tariff strategy towards Canada.
I'm announcing when the Senate returns, I'm going to force a vote on the Trump tariffs to get rid of them for Canada.
But probably not a crowd pleaser in Congress, where House Republicans did not go along and foiled a similar bipartisan anti-tariff Senate resolution regarding Canada back in April, and then from the White House last week.
They have to pay a fair rate. That's all. It's very simple. And all we want is fairness for our country.
Schumer maintains tariffs and Trump's Canada 51st state comments are really hurting the Western New York economy, as Canadians are just not coming over.
When Canadians come here and they shop in our stores and they eat in our restaurants and they stay in our hotels, it's money brought into Western New York. And so we need it. It's something this community is dependent on.
Even a Niagara Falls hotel developer weighing in with an impact on his Marriott Courtyard expansion project.
Building in New York State is not for faint of heart. Between regulation, red tape, and rising costs, it's a grind. Add in federal tariffs on construction material, and it becomes cost prohibitive.
But of course, Senator Schumer himself has previously talked tough on trade to the Canadians, saying this about Western New York dairy industry restrictions back in 2016.
And if we were to say we're considering putting a law that says auto parts for cars sold in the U.S. couldn't be made in Canada, that's just an example. That's a pretty severe example. They'd listen pretty clearly.
So he had to ask 9 years later.
But doesn't that poison the relationship with Canada too when you say things like this?
Here's two things I'd say. First, they should be pointed. When they were taking advantage of dairy, all we wanted was something pointed. Second, you don't need in those situations all this name calling that gets everyone so upset, gets them riled up.
Scott Marialis, a weapon has been recovered and an investigation is ongoing as state police try to piece together what exactly happened late last night. 2 young men, an 18-year-old and a 23-year-old, are dead, and another 23-year-old has been released from ECMC after sustaining minor injuries. The shooting happened just before 11:30 last night in the area of White's Drive on the Cattaraugus Seneca Nation territory. Authorities say multiple scenes were involved, including an initial location and then a car just over 1,000 feet away. They also say at least 9 shots were fired and a weapon has been recovered since then. Seneca Nation President J.C. Seneca expressed his sympathies today in Rochester as police discuss where they are in this investigation.
But at this point, we're looking at every party that was present at any part of the events that occurred throughout the evening leading up to the shooting, which occurred again around the 11:27 hour when it was reported.
The loss of our nation members certainly affects all of us, and I know all of our community is suffering today in regards to that.
There is no suspect in custody at this time, and police say there may be some sort of charges pending. Now, around the time of this incident, there was a shelter-in-place order for a period of time. That has since been lifted, and state police want to emphasize today that there is no threat to the community at this time. On your side in Collins, Alyssa Clausel, Channel 2 News.
The parole board voted unanimously to consider the brain development and decision-making of a minor serving a maximum sentence of life for a crime committed prior to age 18. According to the proposed regulations, the board would place great weight on the minor offender's characteristics when making parole release decisions.
I believe that the pendulum is swinging even further away. I have proposed a series of parole reform package bills to actually come to a more middle ground to hold our parole board a little bit more accountable.
Assemblyman Pat Kuczynski prefers changes based on public safety, but the parole board voted to consider that minor offenders' characteristics and how an individual's youth impacted the offense, also prior conflicts with the law, institutional behavior, subsequent rehabilitation, and then meaningfully weigh applicable minor offender characteristics in favor of release when determining whether the standard for release is satisfied. All of this will be used in the parole board's decision on whether or not to release a person.
This would only include your 16, 17-year-old offenders that were sentenced to life. And, in my mind, if you're 16 or 17 years old and you're sentenced to that sentence, you probably committed either a murder or something very heinous or serious.
It remains to be seen if this new change will result in more or less people being released from state prisons.
I believe we need to, instead of being focused on the offender and whether or not they're rehabilitated, we need to look at the impact that this crime had on the victim and the victim's families.
A water main break at the corner of South Park Avenue and Tiff Street is impacting residents here in South Buffalo. Some say they don't have any water, and others are concerned about road repairs. Around 6:30 Tuesday morning, residents in South Buffalo witnessed a water main break. Lisa Clute-Ellis lives and runs a daycare on South Park Avenue. She says she was watering her garden when she noticed water streaming down the street.
I mean, you see it on TV, like a movie or something, but no, it was huge. And it was flooded everywhere. And even the workers this morning were just standing there in awe.
I thought it was smoke. Well, I got closer and all the water was just like a geyser. And then the whole street was water. It just poured out. I never saw anything like it.
Principal engineer for the city of Buffalo, Peter Merlo, says residents, police, and fire were notified about the water main break early Tuesday morning, adding the line sees a lot of pressure being close to the pumping station and being a major connection for the South Buffalo area.
That line was a lot of water between the outer harbor and that part of South Buffalo, so I wasn't surprised to see that volume coming out of that break.
Merlo says water service will likely be restored by the end of the day Tuesday. Contractors are expected to return soon to begin preliminary road repairs. Full restoration could take until the end of this year or even into next, once the city selects a contractor.
The break is what we call a blowout. There was maybe a 2-foot by 1-foot section of that cast iron main that just failed and blew out. The line itself, though, given its history and age, is still in good condition. We don't believe it's systematic of a line failure.
On your side in South Buffalo, Chelsea Swift, Channel 2 News.
The world will note that the first atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima. We have used it in order to shorten the agony of war.
The headlines of Buffalo newspapers on August 6th, 7th, and 8th, 1945 paint a word picture of total destruction. And as photos and newsreel footage was published in the following days and weeks, the descriptions of that destruction could be seen. The atomic bomb ended World War II and sparked a Cold War that would continue for 45 years. But in the immediate aftermath of the Hiroshima bombing, Western New York's role in the Manhattan Project was slowly revealed. More than 40 industrial facilities in the region contributed to the top-secret project, many of them supplying processed uranium, tools, die-casts, and more to the effort, many of them not knowing what they were even contributing to. And in the years that followed, the radioactive waste of that $2 billion project remained throughout the communities in Erie and Niagara counties. The Seaway landfill in Tonawanda, guttural steel in Lockport, and the Niagara Falls storage site in Lewiston, 3 sites out of dozens where radioactive material still lingers, hundreds of thousands of tons. As the years turned into decades after the war, the Niagara Frontier's nuclear past would slowly be revealed and remediated.
These projects are complex, and the safety being like I said, the backbone of everything is safety. It takes time. It certainly takes funding, and it takes a lot of effort from really good and dedicated people.
The largest site of radioactive material remains in Lewiston at the Niagara Falls storage site, where just a few weeks ago shipments of radioactive topsoil and groundwater to Texas began. but a larger $600 million removal of more than 390,000 tons of material under this clay cap at the Niagara Falls storage site is still in the design phase, and removal of that waste can hopefully begin in the year 2030.
It's a very complex project that we're working through, but it's coming along, and we're gearing up for those next 2 phases on the project.
While it took only 3 years to build the bomb, it will take nearly 100 years to clean up the mess that making it made. When you look at the cost to clean up the waste at the remaining Manhattan Project sites in Western New York, it's more than $750 million. The Manhattan Project itself cost $2 billion. On your side, Nate Benson, Channel 2 News.
Yes, Scott and Mary Alice, you know, we took this all in tonight with so many fans inside this theater behind us. You can still see it up on the marquee there. That's pretty cool to see in itself. But we told you earlier this evening that the show's director said we could expect to see a different side of the Buffalo Bills. And without giving away too much, I'd say we certainly saw that. From seeing the team adjust to life in the dorms at St. John Fisher to an interesting hobby of Dion Dawkins and one player's efforts to even get on the menu at Pittsford Farms. We took this all in tonight with all these fans here inside this. This episode really had it all. And in addition to seeing the premiere of this show, we got an additional behind-the-scenes look at how the series was made with a conversation with the show's creator. And I know I said I felt like we got a different look, but what did fans think? We caught up with them right as they were coming out of the theater just a few moments ago. Take a listen to this.
Most definitely, like, to hear those guys mic up and see what they talk about all the time too, like while they're playing, it's kind of funny.
But we knew about how our Bills are, but now the rest of the country can see it. I really do. They're tremendous. They really are.
It was emotional. You know, it was good to see that they're all humans as well. It's not just players that get paid a ton of money to do this sport. Like, they actually care for it, and they want to bring us a championship, and that's what I'm about. That's what I'm here for, obviously.
That's why you got the belt, right?
That's why I got the belt. Just wishful thinking. I know it's going to happen. 2025. Just watch.
And now HBO will continue to drop new episodes every Tuesday for the next 4 weeks leading up to the start of the NFL season, and that includes that very anxious day for many bubble players, that 53-man cut day for the official roster for this season. Scott and Mary Alice, it's going to be very interesting now to have this additional lens, right, this behind-the-scenes look as we head to the start of the season and hopefully what's a Super Bowl campaign, right, guys? We're live and on your side tonight here at North Park Theater on Hurdle Avenue. Andy Payton, Channel 2 News.
Another Bills training camp here on the campus of St. John Fisher University. In the books, 11 practices, just over 2 weeks here in Pittsford. The story when we got here on July 23rd was James Cook. The story as we leave here today, still James Cook. Jonathan Acosta with the latest on that front, plus who you will see on the field for Saturday's preseason opener.
Ahead of Thursday's final camp practice for the Bills at St. John Fisher, the top question coming into the day was whether we would see James Cook one last time in Pittsford or whether the running back would continue his hold-in for a fourth straight practice. The latter holding true with Cook missing practice once again and his contract status now looming over the team as they head back to Orchard Park. Cook is still going through walkthroughs with the team, but the Bills desperately want their big play hitter at running back on the field.
Whether it's relationships or when you're dealing in situations like this, it all starts with respect. You know, I have a ton of respect for him, and you know, the position that he's in right now is not an easy one. That said, we have to move forward as a team, and I'm sure he respects that.
It was good for Ray to get some of these reps and you know, getting on the same page with Ty again, who I think is our best third down back in the game. It just gives them a couple more opportunities. But you know, James is who he is, and he's one of the best running backs in the league, and he'd be crazy not to say we don't want him out there. We desperately want him out there with us, and hopefully something can get done.
Cook's continued hold-in means we're unlikely to see him Saturday against the Giants in the preseason opener. The rest of the starters are set to play about a quarter, according to head coach Sean McDermott, with one big exception, that being quarterback Josh Allen, the team looking to keep their star quarterback healthy.
He wants to be out there with his teammates, so I know this is not easy for him in that regard, but it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, just trusting what coach is saying, what he's thinking. You know, he's the guy in charge, so following what he's saying. I understand the gravity of these games and what they mean to certain guys, and I just want to make sure that I give them my full attention and a lending ear and a lending mind if they need it. just trying to help out as much as possible.
And along with Saturday's game, the majority of preseason practices now pivoting for the Bills back home to Orchard Park, with camp here in Pittsford all wrapped up. On your side at St. John Fisher, Jonathan Acosta, Channel 2 Sports.
We have a special Out to Eat this week. We're here at the Erie County Fair seeing what kind of things they have to offer this year. And we are starting at Brody's Mac and Cheese, the winner of the Best in Fair contest last year.
My name is Jeremy Limerick. I'm from Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, and I own Brody's. We have Brody's Mac and Cheese, which was here last year. We won Best of Fair, and we brought our barbecue trailer this year.
Delicious. And who's Brody?
Brody is my 13-year-old son, so that's who the business is named after.
Well, he must love that. Yeah. What's his favorite thing on the menu?
Just regular mac and cheese. Yeah, nothing fancy.
What are some other things that you'll be serving throughout the fair?
So we have our Boom Boom mac and cheese, Boom Boom chicken mac and cheese, our hot honey mac and cheese, and then from our barbecue trailer, our famous hog fries.
What do you enjoy about coming to the Erie County Fair?
We just really love Hamburg, New York. It was our first year here last year, and the people here just welcomed us with open arms. And the fair is beautiful. It's landscape beautiful. The fireworks every night. It's like Disneyland for 12 days, so we love it here.
My name's Devin Falcon, the owner of Brazilian Bowls. We cook Brazilian style. We do it over a charcoal grill, a rotisserie charcoal grill, and we make like a Chipotle style bowl. It's better than Chipotle, but Chipotle style bowl. We do chicken, steak, or shrimp over rice, black beans, corn, all kinds of toppings, all freshly made, all like made from scratch.
This obviously stands out on the
this is our new product. It's a pineapple pork sandwich. So I just actually built this grill. It's like one of our first times running it with all the meat on there. So we do it's almost like a pork sandwich with a whole piece of pineapple on it and our homemade teriyaki pineapple sauce.
Plus it looks really cool spinning like that.
That's the point.
Does it entice a lot
yes,
of people?
Everyone stops. Tons of people stop and look at it.
One place that's always busy when it's this hot is the ice cream stand, and you have a lot of offerings.
Oh, tons of options. We got frozen bananas, cheesecake, hard and soft ice cream. We got it all, banana splits. And this year we're doing our Biscoff cookie butter sandwich. Really good. You should come try it out.
What's in it?
So we have a chocolate wafer cookie on top, a chocolate chip cookie on the bottom, and in the middle is our homemade Biscoff cookie butter hard ice cream. Very good. And then we dip that in chocolate and rolled in the Biscoff cookies.
My name is Josh Felp. We own Josh's Delicious Tacos here at the fair. We're out of Attica, New York. This year we're introducing the Tailgater. So it's buffalo chicken on Cool Ranch Doritos with all the toppings and everything else. Get to walk around with it, and it's just a variation of the taco in a bag, the Bill's twist.
Does anyone think Josh Allen is selling these tacos?
I mean, if they want to think that, that's fine. It'd be great if he wanted to come down and endorse it too, but that's up to him.
And you said you're fourth generation concessionaire here, and a lot of the concessionaires are from out of town, but you're local.
Correct. Yep, we are local. I live in Attica now, but grew up in Alden. We're fourth generation. My great grandfather was here with pop-up skillet like 65 years ago or something like that. So been here for a long time.
And to vote for any of the foods in the new food showdown, just make sure you look for the QR code at the front of the booth. Thanks for coming out to eat with us this week at the Erie County Fair. On your side, Lauren Hall, Channel 2 News.